戦おうか。我が名はユーハバッハ。お前のすべてを奪うのだ。お前たちの抱く希望の未来をすべて私のこの手で砕いてやる。さあ、新たな世界へ。ブリーチ。Brave Souls.
Alright, what is going on, you guys? This is your boy, the Death Smasher, and welcome back to yet another Bleach Brave Souls video. And it's now time to go ahead and start remaking the top 10 lists because it's been over 5 months since then. Some attributes have gotten a lot of new characters, some attributes have gotten a bit of characters that still want an update to the top 10 lists. So here we are, and we're going to be starting it off with the Mind attribute because in the span of 5 months' time, we have gotten a lot of Mind characters that just happen to contend in the list, which just merits a complete overhaul. So here we are today, and we're gonna start. But before we go ahead and begin, why don't you guys go ahead and smash that like button, share this video with your friends and family, and also subscribe and hit the bell notification. I also have a second channel where I can actually do some gaming content sometimes whenever I want to, which isn't BBS related. Link will be in the description below. So if you guys care about the content, make sure to do everything. So yeah, it's time to go ahead and begin. But now let's just start off with the honorable mentions. So we have what is going on? Mind Lisa as an honorable mention? Clearly the list has changed, but she's still a good character to use nonetheless. It's just the kit that kind of holds her back. The killer isn't really too much of an issue because there's still a lot of content to still use these type of characters, but like, still good. Frenzy +1, Berserker 40, increased status element chance against heart attribute enemies, 80% SP boost with Mind attribute character strong attack damage. It's just the kit that can be a bit bothersome. She does have the Shotgun Blast on the SA1, Suction Vortex on the SA2, and then the SA3 is full screen. So like, you do want to give this character a long stride if you want to be very efficient for when it comes to using this character in hard content like Limit Breaker Quest, Guild Quest, you guys name it. There's just better characters nowadays that you can use over this unit. And next up is Kick-Ass Society Ulk. I'm still keeping him as an honorable mention. It's just that there's no way to, guarantee the 80% attack buff, unfortunately, compared to 1000 Year Blow Horizon, but he's still a remarkable strong NAD character that still deserves to be mentioned because he has Flurry +1, an overall bruiser of 40%, normal attack damage, soul trait, and skill combined, and does have the extra Guild Quest effects, and also has the 80% attack buff. Where it all goes wrong for him is pretty much not being able to inflict status elements as often, and Drain kind of sucks for Inheritance Trials because there's just way too many of them and way too many co-op quests in which enemies have a spotter killer. So it's not a really good design for him, but if you guys are curious, he has the 18% shave and the vacuum into explosion essays, which are going to help out with getting the 80% attack buff, but it's still kind of hard to even get that to be activated. And then the last one on the honorable mentions is going to be Yamamoto. He's still a good character, has ridiculously high damage output, just no Havoc to pretty much warrant him to be in the top 10, and there's just way too many good Mind characters that have been added to the list that just, highlights it. That is all. But yeah, if you guys want to know the kit, he literally plays exactly like 7th Anniversary Uryu, but without Havoc. So 2.5k length being with 800 plus width, lunge from 700 into 900, and then a full screen SA3. That is all you guys really need to know. No Havoc, no Pierce Iron Skin. That's the only thing that kind of holds him back. And now to truly begin the top 10 list. So coming in at number 10, I have to pretty much give it to Christmas Grimmjow. I do think that this guy is really good, just that he's a bit held back by the kit, and I think that this guy could be better in the long run if he just had something else, because his skills are by far one of the most stacked I have seen from a mid-month character. And let us just take a look at what he has. So for starters, as a soul trait, he picked up strong attack damage of 35%. That is completely new. He does keep the cooldown reduction, has Frenzy +1, 80% SP boost with increased status element chance against heart attribute enemies, which is pretty darn nice. And he has the Heart Link Slot potions of +10, which is insane. Like, you want to use this character for epic raids and Inheritance Zone specifically when we have ×2 drop rate. with a good soul bomb of devastation 40%, debilitator damage to drain enemies of 40%, and mind attribute or rancor damage to status element affected enemies of plus 40%. Really solid for a mid-month character. That being said, he only has drain, so like, of course you're not going to be using this character in inheritance trials, no way. But let's say a person happens to use him and, you know, drain gets blocked, you're going to have a hard time playing as this character. But he also does have guard break, havoc of 20%, and sprinter plus 1. One of the better mid-month characters that we have gotten so far skill-wise. But the kit, he's kind of held back with what he is meant to do, especially for epic raids, because he just has a bunch of strong attacks that have vortexes. And kind of leaves you locked in place, which for a character that you are meant to be using in epic raids for, you kind of don't want that because it can get you killed and potentially lose out on a lot of full stamina damage boost. Now, this SA1 is going to be the suction vortex, which I've got no problem, but like, again, you got to be careful when using that for epic raids. He's an epic raid character. SA2 is going to be the suction vortex into a lunge, like, you know, White's SA1. So yeah, again, it can lock you into place. And then his SA3 is new. It's basically a type of pull in into, I think, pushback. It's new. It's kind of similar to Aroniero's SA2, but it's kind of weird. It's a weird type of strong attack in that kind of sense. So like, again, the kit is what holds him back from being a bit higher on the list, but his skill set is, in my opinion, pretty good. You can make a solid use out of this character for Inheritance Zone, but for epic raids, you kind of want to be careful when it comes to playing as this character right here. Up next is going to be the Mind Ulquiorra. Jesus, number 9. Oh boy, well, we've definitely gotten a crap ton of Mind characters in the list. Now, I kind of was in a dilemma whether I wanted to place Lisa over Ulquiorra, and I thought to myself, maybe it's better that I put this guy over pretty much Lisa and of course above Grimjow, because this guy just happens to be an ultimate farmer for the attribute and just happens to have a much better kit to use overall. Now keep in mind, his damage isn't going to be as crazy good like Grimjow or Lisa, but again, just has better stuff like Frenzy plus 1, increased status element chance, Berserker 40 with Mind attribute or Rancor damage to status element affected enemies of plus 40% with weakening on the entire kit. And yeah, like I stated, he's a farmer. He's got the Droplet Drop skill, the Link Slot Potion skill, and the Super Link Slot Potion skill. So pretty much a nice must-have if you're an Ulquiorra fan like me, and of course, if you want a farmer for the specific attribute. So there's that, and again, the kit is good. He does have the Suction Vortex like Grimjow on the SA1, however, he has 2 full screen attacks. The second strong attack is a 1080 radius all around him, and then the third strong attack is 1200 radius, so yeah, you like to see that, and this is still the only character after, you know, Concord Ichigo to have this type of specific kit and hasn't been repeated ever since, which in my opinion is kind of a shame because I do think that it's a fun kit that should get repeated every once in a while, even though the 960 strong attack is a lot stronger, but it's still fun regardless. That being said, he does keep the Havoc, the Guard Break, and also has stamina recovery when moving in between quest areas, so yeah. He's aged alright, just that we have better characters, and that's why he's moved down a lot on the list. Now, at number 8, we have this Mind Miuri right here. I do think that he's very underrated, and funny enough, he's already aging better than the Spirits Are Forever With You one, where he was just a nuker. This guy, let's just say that the DPS is kind of similar, but like, just was better because of the kit and what he brings to the table because of Frenzy plus 1. The SP boost of 80% does have Havoc and Guard Break, Berserker 40, and also Mind attribute Soul Reaper damage to status element affected enemies of plus 40%. So once you inflict paralysis, poison, you do 40% more damage. But that's not all though. You do have an additional strong attack damage of plus 40% when at full stam, and a map-wide AoE skill of being able to inflict paralysis and poison every 5 seconds at 12%. So pretty broken stuff, just that he doesn't have increased status element chance unlike Ulquiorra, Grimjow, and Lisa, but he's just going to be able to do the job a lot better. Again, he has a better kit too, so he's going to be really strong. Has a Suction Vortex on the SA1, SA2 being the 3k length beam with 1020 width, and a full screen SA3, so Still a solid character. Great to use in Guild Quest, specifically if you guys do not happen to have a 5 out of 5 Parasol Bruno. And number 7, we have Balgo and Osushi. Jeez, they're that low now? Again, we've gotten a lot of different Mind characters. So, believe it or not, this is literally Mind Ulquiorra, but a lot better. By that, I mean, he has the same skills as him, but now has double status summons, meaning that he has Weakening and Drain, Bombardment, and 80% SP boost. So basically Ulquiorra on crack. And yeah, funny enough, this guy did get his value increased because of very hard guild quests. So now Quincy and Human Killer is no longer shared. It's rather its own thing, meaning that you can use him for ranged Quincy Stern Ritter GQ, and of course ranged Human Squad 0. So it's nice to see that. However, he is a bit underpowered because of the kits that he has. He isn't too good for what he is meant to be used for. He's mainly a farmer. So with that being said, he does have an AoE in front of him, 750 at that, Vortex into pushback like Tokinata, Hikone, etc, and then a full screen 1200 radius SA3. So yeah, the kit is at least quite decent. He does at least do good enough damage to kill the enemy mobs. Just that in GQ, he kind of does struggle because there's no type of crowd control, and yeah, you just don't have anything to keep your units safe as a whole, and there's just better units to use overall. Like, if you have Macy, you want to use her, and if you have Halloween Tosher, you want to use him over Balgo. So there's that, but he's still a strong character regardless. And number 6, we have ourselves Ikkaku. Bro, feels weird to see an Ikkaku, man. Normally, he alongside Yumi Chiga don't get that many good units, and the last considerable one was basically the Fierce Battle Speed one, and that was good for PvP and Guild Quest, and now we have ourselves a pretty busted Ikkaku for PvE content. But that being said, he is basically Balgo and Ulquiorra, even more on crack because, okay, now, he doesn't inflict status omens. So there's that. For Guild Quest, you don't want to use this character at all, but look at what he has. Frenzy plus 2, Berserker 60, damage to enemies not afflicted by an ailment of 30%, and pretty much shares the exact same skills. So Droplet, Link Slot Potion, Super Link Slot Potion, but more importantly, he now can pierce through Iron Skin and has the Zeta Pill built onto him, making him the definitive farmer for Inheritance Trials, and he'll still be good for farming stuff in Epic Raids, IZ, Enriched Droplet Zone. He's just gonna do what Ulquiorra and Balgo does, but a lot better. And it's good to see that he did also pick up 60% Berserker with Frenzy plus 2, although they did, you know, not give him 100% pure damage, but still, it's quite good. He also does have Long Stride and Sprinter plus 1, which is amazing. You can just give him full stamina, damage boost, and SP as the bonus abilities directly. And then the attacks, just as SA1 sucks, it's the 570 lunging attack. It's really outdated, but like, you can kind of make a workaway around it because he has a 3k length beam on the SA2, which is good. Again, it would have been preferable if he had the 750 AoE or the Suction Vortex, and then the SA3 is full screen, so yeah, just a very good character. I do think that they kind of delivered when it came to making this Ikkaku. At number 5, we have Asnot. It's so nice to be able to see this guy come into the game finally at last. And they released him as a mid-month character, and I still think that he's by far one of the best mid-month characters that we have gotten in the game with the skills and kit that he did get. Now, he did pick up Frenzy plus 2 with damage to slowed and weakened enemies of plus 40%, which is pretty insane. Also has Multi-Barrier plus 2, Sharpshooter, and 80% SP boost. Where he falls short is pretty much the SA2, and of course not having increased status summon chance. You only have 3 attacks to be able to inflict your SP boost. The NAD, the first Tron attack, and the third Tron attack. You can't do that with the second Tron attack because, well, it's a shield move. For whatever reason, you cannot do that with any type of shield, heal, boost type of SA, which is quite terrible. And secondly, you are going to have a lot longer cooldown. So instead of waiting for the strong attack to come back within 8 seconds, it's going to take out around 20 seconds, which isn't the greatest. But that being said, he does have the reduced strong attack cooldown of 6%. So rather than it being 20 seconds, it's 16 now. I'm never gonna, you know, not laugh at the freeze immunity, bro. He gets frozen by Rukia, so like, why give him that? I get that it's for Guild Quest, but like, it's such a meme at that point. But anywho, I do think that this guy is quite underrated. I have this guy max transcended, and I actually do enjoy this character for what it is, believe it or not, because his kit, he has the 40% range collision shave attack. Basically the same SA1 as, who had that? Eburn has it, the Swimsuit Riruka has it, Christmas Soy Fun, and also, most notably, Power Bruno. This is the key to getting the 80% SP boost with Asnot, because look at how many hits it has. It has a max of 18 hits, so while it's going to be pushing back, you'll be able to activate the 80% SP boost and also be able to have access to the extra damage multipliers. So you're going to be killing it with Asnot, and in my opinion, a lot of people underlook that fact because it's a very strong SA1, and when you're applying weakening and slow, it's just ridiculously strong. It is. It's just that, again, his SA2 holds him back, because look at this, he has the Vortex into pushback attack. So basically the same thing that Balgo has, that Power Hikone has, Toki Nada. And it's a shame because they made it into a barrier, and if they kept it as a regular SA2, you would be able to proc the SP boost even more, be able to get the damage out even more thanks to the skills, and just do a lot more damage. It's kind of a shame because this SA2, you do not want to activate it until you get the 80% SP boost via the SA1 or the SA3. And then his third strong attack is a 1080 radius. It's a good thing that this guy picked up Havoc, because if he didn't, he would have had a 900 radius SA3 and it would not have been full screen and it would have sucked. But anywho, he's a good character. I do find him to be useful in guild quests especially, because I have Max Transcended and I have managed to get some pretty good scores. So like there's a good usage to use out of this character should you guys get more copies of him in the near future. If he had a better kit and increased status element chance, I think that I would have probably ranked him a bit higher on the list, but number 5 is a pretty good spot for now. Anywho, at number 4 we have ourselves Halloween Nini. Now this character, sadly, she comes with the gimmick that you want to have her gauge active at all times, because that is where she is going to be strong the most, because once you activate it, you do get an extra Frenzy +1 and 100% Berserker. The issue here is, once you run out of that gauge, you're pretty much left with a lukewarm character until you activate it again, because she only has Frenzy +1 with Berserker 40 and full stamina damage boost of 20%. No 80% SP boost, no increased status element chance, no Frenzy +2 in base, and in my opinion, it sucks. And the reason why they chose to nerf that is because she has the Gauge Rampage skill. This type of skill will help you build up the gauge even faster just by killing enemy mobs. And this skill has proven to be very effective in Limit Break Request, and it did work out. But that being said, it really does not help that you have lower multipliers in your damage, because it just means that you're gonna struggle to kill some enemy mobs until you get the gauge active again. Now, thankfully, once you start the quest, you'll have this start gauge 70%, so it will only take a couple strong attacks, and there you go. You'll already be at max power, and you'll also get some extra gauge effects, like the 50% SP boost. You can heal as well. So there's that. It's just very disappointing with how they made this character, but let's say you are a Nini simp, you can actually use her for guild quests as well. And as a matter of fact, she will just be one of the best characters in the game once you get the gauge active. It's just, you know, it is unfortunate for what it is, and honestly, she could have been one of the best mine units in the game if she had a better base skill set. She could have been, but that isn't the case. But she's still ridiculously strong as is once you get the gauge active. It's just, I don't like how they structured Nini, even with the fact that they gave her double status elements and, you know, just made her gauge effect so damn stupid OP. But it doesn't mean that you should make her base skill set bad. I'm sorry, but that's just not how it is. It's 2020 skills. We're in 2024 now. This is not acceptable. Yes, she's a 2023 character. She came out back in October, but like, we're pretty much in the realm of the 9th year, and we're gonna get to the 9th year anniversary soon. So this is kind of, you know, a bad take if you ask me. Oh, if you guys were wondering, the skill set, right, she has Long Stride, is immune to burn, sprint +1, so at least she's gonna be speedy, and Suction Vortex, like always, 960 AoE in front, and the SA3 is full screen. Like, the kit is great. It's just so unfortunate with how they made her base skills. At number 3, we have 7th Anniversary Ichigo. Now, this character has aged quite well, and I know the position for this character is a bit weird, because, like, if you look at the skill sets, you guys can actually say that Asnot is stronger than 7th Anniversary Ichigo, and you guys would be right, but the thing about him is that he just doesn't have the crazy kit or anything of that kind of sort, and that is why, and as well as these other characters that we have right here. But the thing about him is that he's got the double killers still. 80% SP boost with Frenzy +1, does have 40% Berserker, double status elements of Paralysis and Weakening, also has a map-wide AoE skill of being able to inflict Paralysis and Weakening. You can make him work in Limit Breaker Quest, but Guild Quest is pretty much going to be his main mode, especially for the fact that you can use him for Ranged Soul Reaper and Ranged Runker. I still use this character, and he does pretty well for what he is meant to be used in. If anything, the one thing that always sucked about this character was always the SA1 being the cross-shaped strong attack, which isn't good. Like, it's too linear. It hits in only 4 split directions, and you can easily miss with that strong attack if not lined up correctly. And thankfully, only CN got this exact same SA1, and then never again. This strong attack was never repeated, because thank God it was terrible. I used to like it at first, but now it's like, nah, it's bad. So. But that being said, he does at least have the 960 into Homing Vortex, and then the SA3 being full screen. It's literally the 960 into Homing Vortex that pretty much saved this character as a whole, and that's why he's just gonna be, you know, a lot more valuable. Like, he even has Bombardment. He can literally lock enemies in place, and you can let the NAD units cook. That's why this character is still good to use to this day, and why he still has so much value. Like, he has not fallen off. But that being said, we are due to get a replacement for Ranged Soul Reaper and Ranged Oranka. As a matter of fact, we already have that for Ranged Soul Reaper being a Halloween Noelle, but like, that isn't really much since she's basically just another 1000-year blower Yamamoto for heart. And then, yeah, we need a replacement for Ranged Oranka. It's gonna come in due time, but he's still strong for what he is, and I think he perfectly fits the number 3 spot. And number 2 is, oh my god, White? What happened? This guy was number 1 5 months ago. It's just that, well, I'm not gonna say spoilers, but like, this character is still ridiculously broken, and by far one of the better mind characters that we have in the game. Just look at what he has. Frenzy +2, Havoc of 20%, increased status element chance against heart attribute enemies, 80% SP boost, and then look at his Soul Bomb. He can defense, mind attribute character special move damage of 30%, and bombardment. That is ridiculous. He also has double killers too, so like, he has twice the value of 7th Anniversary Ichigo and can make good work with what he can do. And the crazy thing is, he even has increased status element chance against heart attribute enemies, and has damage to drained enemies of 40% and lacerated enemies of 60%, which is good. You can easily get those extra multipliers out at a consistent basis. This guy's going to be able to heal. He's just going to be able to put in a lot of work and being able to cook. And then you look at his innate abilities. Immune to every status element, Marauder, and Spring +3. He's still the only character outside of Soifon and Yoruichi to have 4 flash dubs. Okay, that's pretty damn crazy. And then the kit, Suction Vortex into Lunge, basically what Grimmjow had as an SA2, but is an SA1 for White. 870 into 1080 Lunge, and then the SA3 is a Vacuum into Explosion type of attack, similar to 5th Anniversary Byakuya, and it's pretty much the same SA3 as Miller Rose, Soifon, Geo, Momo, but like, this character, you inflict status elements, you're just gonna do crazy damage, and he's quite speedy too. Although, to get most out of his flash steps, you do need to give him Long Stride via the bonus abilities. But like, what he has in base is just so broken. Like, he's just unmatched, one of the best mind characters in the game still. And he's literally an easy top 5 unit. And then at number 1, wow. I never thought I'd see the day that Yuha Baha would get a remake, and is truly the Quincy King here. This is the 3rd version of Yuha. The first one was garbage. Like, he was just a PvP gimmick. The second one was another PvP character, but was good. Still good to this day, and is a great valuable asset for melee captain. But for PvE content, nothing too crazy. And then we have this one right here, and they finally nailed it. Third time's the charm is what they always say, and look at what this guy has. Frenzy +2, Epic of 20%, 80% SP boost, Berserker 40, is immune to all status elements, has the same skill as Kilgay, Quincy, Ichigo, and Macy, meaning that once you move in between quest areas, you'll be able to reduce the cooldowns of your strong attacks that you've recently used. Also has a higher cooldown rate, has Hollow, and no affiliation filler. This guy is brimming with a lot of value and is already a very strong character with the skill set that he has. Even has a good soul bomb of devastation 60% with the weakening too, which is crazy, and has weakened defense. Now he doesn't have bombardment like White. His soul bomb is not going to be that crazy as White, but what he does is just ridiculously stupid, man. It's ridiculous. And then you look at the inner abilities. He's also a speedy boy, Marauder and Spirit +2. He's already going to be faster than White in base, and you can already give him SP and full stamina damage boost at all times. His soul bomb is already going to be doing fine because of the fact that he has a built-in weakened defense. You don't need to improve that any further. You can already maximize the damage that he does. And the strong attacks, Suction Vortex once again, but now he has a 960 into Homing Vortex and has a full screen SA3. Freaking ridiculous. He just doesn't have increased status element chance, but his skill set honestly helps him out a lot for what he needs to do. And not to mention, he has a mini rampage effect. Now, unfortunately, on BBS Simulator, it's not shown, but you do get some extra skills as you defeat enemies. Defeat 20 enemies, you get 20% melee damage for all of your attacks. Defeat 40 enemies, you gain an additional 40% Berserker. So that Berserker value will get rounded up to 80 after you have killed 40 enemy mobs. And guess what? The whole defeated enemy bonus that Yuha has, it doesn't just have to be you killing them. Even your allies that will be killing the enemy mobs will apply to that hit count, which is crazy. Kill 60, you will get the devastation increase from 60% to 120%. Ridiculous. And then you kill 80, you get an additional soul bomb. So for long content, such as Limit Breaker quests, co-op quests, you can already get up to 2 soul bombs with Yuha, which is freaking ridiculous. In Arena, you already had characters with set arena skills, such as having, increased special move uses, but this is the first time ever integrated for a PvE character, which is insane. It's ridiculous. Now, granted, unfortunately, you cannot really make too much usage out of the devastation 120% and the extra soul bomb because you do not have 80 enemies in order to be able to do that, unfortunately. But you can at least unlock the melee damage and get the extra Berserker, so Yuha is still going to be able to dish in so much damage, and he's not going to have a problem at all whatsoever when it comes to killing with the strong attacks. And yeah, Yuha is by far the undisputed #1 mind character in the game and an easy top 3 contender for the game. It's stupid, it's ridiculous, and it took us 5 years to get a really solid remake, but I'm glad we waited for that long because this guy does not disappoint. The Quincy King has arrived and took back his throne. That's what I love to see. And yeah, that's the top 10 list. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree. This list was a bit tough at first. I had to move down some stuff and then just get around to recording it. This was like my second take, and I already had some characters mixed around that I just felt weren't right after taking a look back at it. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you guys have enjoyed it, don't forget to smash that like button, share this video with your friends and family, subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already, and hit the bell notification so that way you guys are up to date with my most recent videos. This has been your boy, the Death Smasher, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. So have a wonderful day, lads. Peace out. Bye. Sayonara. Ciao, ciao.